Hey YouTube, it is July 16th, 2026. It's been about a week and a half since I've played a game. I've been hanging out with family and whatnot. Then I decided to play a few games last night, and one of the games I'm going to show you today was one of those. And I thought it was a really good game. It dealt with the A3 Sicilian, and it had some ideas in it that I just kind of wanted to show you. And yeah, so let's just run into it. All right, here we have our opponent. Uh, what is that? Dodiesis 7. He played as black. I played as white. I started off with the tried and true E4. He went into the Sicilian. I have been looking into a lot of the A3 style Sicilians, so that's what I decided to play. He played Knight C6. I played the next move of B4. The idea is you want them to take, you take, and then they'll take with the knight. And the idea of this is you just start building up this big old center. You'll push the knight away if they take, and then yeah, you just build on this center. And then you just play with the massive center, you bring your pieces out, you castle kingside, and you kind of go from there. But he chose not to take. He ended up just building on his pawn wall. And so I pushed my b pawn. The other idea of this is if they don't take, yeah, is just to knock this knight out, put it in an uncomfortable position, and then yeah, he just has to move, and it's not in its normal area to help defending the center squares right here. So he moves it up to the center, which then lets me start to build my pawn center like I want. We go ahead and do this. He takes, I take back. Everything is so far so good. I just have a slight advantage. It means nothing at this point. Then he brings his queen out because he wants to double attack this pawn. I noticed that, so I just bring my knight out to defend it. All very solid. He then develops his g6 pawn. So his idea is he wants to bring out this bishop, so that way he has more pressure on this, and so you can just win a pawn in the center. It's a good idea. I've never actually seen this before. So this was just immediately me out of what I knew. I developed my bishop. My idea is, well, okay, if you do this, I will go ahead and just push. I'm double attacking this. I'm attacking your queen. Yes, you have the sniper aimed on my knight, but I think there'd be I personally thought there was time here because I could just develop my knight. It's ooh, maybe not. I really don't know what I was thinking at this point. I might have, if any all else fails, I might have just moved my rook up. Not really sure, but that's not what happened. He ended up just moving his queen back, which then I started developing my light squared bishop. So my idea is I just wanted to start castling this way before any shenanigans happened. He then develops his bishop. I'm not worried about this pawn because I have two defenders on it. He only has two attackers. He would lose a piece in the long run if he did anything. Oh, I also have this on it. I forget. I have three defenders on it. So I castle. He brings his knight out, just attacking this pawn. It's not defended by anything. I noticed that, so I develop my knight. The knight's it's a little loose because it has no defense, but there isn't really solid way of him attacking it. Maybe this move, but I would just bring my rook in, and everything would be exactly as you would want it. So he castles. At this point, yeah, I took about a minute. I didn't really know what to do here. Um, so I thought, well, maybe I'll just bring my queen up. It'll put some more protection on this. Maybe later ideas of just bringing my rook closer to the center, just to take up space. And then if I do have my rook here on this d file, it will be aiming at the queen in some future scenario. So he develops pushes his b pawn. So okay, I end up developing my rook. It didn't like this. It actually wanted me to, yeah, it wanted this for the longest time. Oh, well, pardon me. Yeah, it wanted me to move my H pawn a lot. Just wanted me to get space. I was looking at this last night a little bit. I didn't look at it a whole lot. But, I didn't. Oh, because it didn't want the knight to come in. That knight coming in taking the bishop might be a little bit of a problem. But regardless, he does it anyway. I don't really care. At the time, I didn't care about the bishop. But it's calling this a mistake. This is like my first mistake in this. Um, I'm simultaneously attacking. He takes my bishop. I take back. Everything's still solid, still defended. And I am attacking his knight still, so that's a threat that he has to deal with. He brings the knight into the center. That's a good outpost square. Very understandable. I then move my rook in just to give more protection on this knight. It also gets the rook out of the line of sight. He develops his bishop. I really didn't see that as that big of a threat. I did just ask questions, though. I was like, what is he going to do with this? Is he going to stay back here? Potentially getting trapped if he goes here? Is he going to take? I wouldn't mind having my bishop here, honestly, because then we can just start thinking of shenanigans of pushing. This will have defense. Maybe not right now pushing, obviously. But he ends up moving back, which is an inaccuracy. I did not see the tactic. That is the reason why this was a blunder. My opponent also didn't see it. But the idea here is you want to take. Doesn't matter which one I take with. Well, it kind of does. I mean, this is probably the most optimal way. But there's this disgusting fork right here where it's attacking this and it's attacking this. I didn't see it at the time. And like I said, my opponent didn't see it at the time as well. That was just the blunder on both our parts. So he ends up pushing his H pawn. I felt like that didn't really do a whole lot. That just seems like a wasted move in my opinion. My idea was to just put my knight here. This is a fantastic outpost. If you were to take, I would take back with this pawn. I have a passed pawn that's protected. And I would have this disgusting pawn chain. And that's exactly what happens. So I take back. Everything so far so good. The position is, it's thinking I'm better, 1.2. He brings his king over. And I sat here for, I think, another minute. Because I was not entirely sure what he was trying to do. I ended up spotting it, though. He wanted to bring his bishop here to target my queen and my rook. So, because he did that, I pushed the pawn. Thinking, okay, well, he can't have a skewer like that if there's a pawn in the way. So he ends up moving his queen, which is a mistake, because now it allows me to develop my knight more into his territory, attack it, which, when he moves, gives me an opportunity later to maybe push. And if I push, the pawn would be defended. So there was ideas of that had come into my mind. He does move it out of the way, just moves it back. I then push my pawn in the center, which I guess was a mistake, because he could just take, and his same plan is still working. But the thing is, he never actually took. He attacked my knight. And I sat here and I thought for a second, and I was like, well, why don't I just sacrifice my knight? And I can just take this pawn. And then my issues of this doesn't happen. I didn't think about this, but I did think of taking. I have these 3 clusters of a pawn. And I've been talking with my coach recently, and she talks about how the further up the board your pawns are, so like on the 6th rank, you can almost think of your pawns as being 3 points because of how much your opponent has to then think about them and prevent them becoming any further. And she's also talked about if they're on the 7th rank, you could almost consider them being worth like 7, 8 points because the threat of them becoming a queen is so strong that your opponent has to do something about it. So I kind of kept that in mind when I decided to do this move. It was a brilliant move. The engine loved it. He took my knight. I then took his other pawn. So right now I'm down a knight for 2 pawns. but I have huge compensation. I have these pawns, 3 passed pawns, and they're about to start rolling. They're disgusting. This pawn's defended. My 2 rooks being where they're at will help push all this. He ends up moving his rook out of the way from being attacked. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking I wanted to protect this pawn in the long run by pushing, or when I pushed. But at the end of the day, I could have just taken this. I could have just taken this and it would have done the same thing. Granted, taking this could have caused it to be a little loose because it's not defended. But it's neither here nor there. It's still a good position. The engine still likes what I'm about to do. So he does this. I'm not really sure why. Maybe pinning this. I didn't really have an understanding of why he was doing this. I just pushed. Because I was like, I got these 3 pawns. I got this fork right here. It's going to be disgusting. There's like not a whole lot he can really do. These pawns are coming in, and they're coming in hot. He then puts more pressure on this, which I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm still pushing, which I thought it was another great move. So now I'm forking his queen and his rook. I'm taking something, whether he wants it or not, and I'm going to start promoting. So he ends up taking with the knight. That's fine. I have this backup pawn. And also, I have this attack on this queen. So, like, this square has so much protection if I decide to push my pawn. It has the rook. It has this pawn. It'll potentially be a queen there. Like, it's looking really, really good. And honestly, at this moment, he just resigned. He had 3 minutes on the clock. I personally would have fought on a little bit, but that's not neither here nor there. His idea, when I looked at this, what was it? I have to explain. It wanted me to take, or I wanted him to take, and I just take his queen. And then he would do this. I wanted me to come over here, keep eyes on this, attack this, and also attack this. Okay, I see. I think this was the biggest, that's the biggest threat right there. But yeah, no, I thought this was really cool. My pawns were this is just a night showing how strong your pawns could be. And for a knight, I had really, really strong pawns. Like, there was not a whole lot to be done here. But yeah, that was pretty much it.